Welcome to Humphreys Highlight. Now it's the 25th of August, so in 4 months today, we will all be celebrating Christmas in our own different ways. This year has been so very different for most of us, I think. So we thought that it would be a fabulous idea to take this opportunity to share just some of the wonderful things that will be available to you this year, so that you can enjoy perhaps planning and looking forward to some of the wonderful options. We've created our 12 days of Christmas just to give you a selection and a thought of all of the wonderful things that you can choose from. So starting off, having a little look at how all of the experiences are spread out. Whether you're in the Cotswolds, whether you're in London, staying in the heart of the Chilterns, or down into Hampshire and so on. There are some fabulous opportunities and wonderful things to choose from. So starting off with one of our, am I allowed to have a favourite? One of our favourites, Hampton Court Palace, which is the most, it's got the most glorious history with dating back from Tudor times with Henry VIII and all of those shenanigans. But nowadays, it turns into an absolute winter wonderland, and there is ice skating, you can do the rooftop tours, a fabulous carriage ride, and if you want to get there nice and early before it opens, you can enjoy a private tour of both sides of this amazing palace. Followed by breakfast in the private apartments, and then jump on your carriage, enjoy the ice skating and the maze and so on. They really do go to town at Hampton Court, and well worth a visit. As is another favourite, the wonderful Blenheim Palace, just north of Oxford, so about probably about an hour and 20 minutes or so from London, beautifully close to MANOIR, which we're coming on to talk about in a bit. And this stunning palace, you can see some of the filming that we did from there a little early in the year, just before lockdown. And this really turns into a palace of light. Apparently about 100,000 light bulbs are used over Christmas. They have a different theme every year. But one thing you are absolutely guaranteed is an incredible light show. They use all the trees and the lake and the bridge and the outside of the palace to create something quite magical. And you can combine that with our beautiful private tours of or butler tours of the private apartments, a delicious lunch, a festive lunch in the Orangery. There is so much to do at Blenheim. It really is quite magical, and you can see here just one of the amazing light shows that they put on. And as you can imagine, it's even better if you're actually standing there. It's truly magical. They don't cut any corners at Blenheim, that's for sure. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the wonder of Le Manoir, one of the most beautiful hotels, part of the Belmond Group, and with Raymond Blanc at the helm in the kitchen, you are guaranteed some of the best food in the country. And one of the wonderful things that they do in the village of Great Milton, where Le Manoir is to put on these beautiful carol concerts. You have one of the choirs from one of the Oxford colleges that come to perform. So the singing obviously is of the most superb quality. And they combine that with a fabulous dinner in the hotel, and obviously you have the option to stay over. You can do fabulous falconry experiences and so on in the grounds beforehand or the next day if you choose. But to get into the festive spirit, Le Manoir really does do it in style. I'm going to keep on using superlatives here, but Kew Gardens also is quite extraordinary, and they use all of their the grounds and the plants and the trees and so on. Another winter wonderland. It's just glorious. There's ice skating here at Kew as well, between December and January. There are the most incredible laser light shows, and when you visit Kew at sort of dusk, as all the lights are really, really coming to the fore, and you take the treetop walk, oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And Kew, as you probably know, is sort of southwest of London, so just half an hour, 40 minutes from the heart of London, but nicely close to Hatfield and Clifton and so on as well. So an easy little trip out if you fancy it. Oxford, the city of dreaming spires, and it really is designed for snow, I think. A lot of cities go a bit slushy and a bit mucky in the snow, but Oxford really embraces it beautifully. And there's a wonderful Christmas market, and as you can see from the picture here, the atmosphere is just festive and glorious, with the smell of mulled wine in the air, opportunity to do a bit of last minute Christmas shopping, and the carol concerts are dotted throughout December. So depending on the date that you're around, we will always recommend visiting one of the colleges for one of their concerts, because it's just glorious. We will happily arrange a gorgeous treasure hunt. So an opportunity to see all the highlights of Oxford, but there's a bit of a competitive element, or just take your time and wander through the city. Maybe a lovely lunch at the Old Bank, and you could choose to stay in their fabulous apartment, which is the beautiful suite at the top of the hotel, and you just look across all the dreaming spires of Oxford. Not a bad place to be. Now this is a real favourite. It's 5 miles down the road from Henley, so about 50 minutes to an hour or so from London. This is Stonor Park, which is a magnificent stately home, and we arranged a rather special family dinner for some clients who came over, and that started a bit of a trend for Christmas dinners in Stonor. William and his wife Ailsa and their 3 children live at Stonor. They are the last of the family their family has lived there for 850 years. So William has a huge number of stories to tell, and he will happily give you a guided tour of his home, followed by champagne in front of the fire by the Christmas tree, and a wonderful private dinner in the dining room, being looked after by your personal butler for the evening. So if you fancy something a little bit different, maybe not going to a restaurant this time, this is a wonderful, wonderful option. You have your choice of menu, and you will be looked after beautifully. So a rather lovely opportunity. And Stonor also put on some rather lovely Christmas events, starting in November actually, with the beautiful Christmas fair that happens. Great place for some Christmas shopping. And as you can see, again, they go to town, and last year was all about the light that they created. It's a lovely feeling at Stonor of being a stately home, but also a family home, and you can feel it as soon as you walk through the door. Now, if you fancy just something a little bit, your guests are looking for an opportunity to soak up maybe one of our lovely little market towns. We've used Henley as an example here. It's our hometown, so we have to use Henley. And this is the picture of Henley when we have a Christmas market for a night, and the whole town closes down, as you can see, and there are stalls and Christmas trees and lights and singing and all sorts going on, which is just glorious. We are also home to the world famous Ascot's teddy bear shop, which is a real treasure trove for old and young. Actually, you don't have to be a child to enjoy the teddy bears from Ascot's. But there's an opportunity for a wonderful guided tour, going to some of the independent shops, including Ascot, Jonkers, that has the most incredible collection of books, and maybe followed by an afternoon tea at Phyllis Court, which is a rather beautiful private members club on the river. And we have a rather unusual living Advent calendar that happens, funny enough, every night of Advent throughout December, which we'll happily share more with you. So it's a lovely, very simple exploration of a typical market town at Christmas. And this is a hugely lovely opportunity for a family or a group of friends to get together on a country estate at Christmas. You can choose what you want to do, whether it's falconry or clay shooting or archery, getting lost in a maze. A chef will be there to create a rather lovely lunch and afternoon tea, obviously. And you can enjoy a really festive, wonderful celebration surrounded by friends and family. Lots of things to do, maybe get a little bit competitive, but just to have a wonderful day all together. For all ages, we're doing quite a lot of it at the moment, a bit more summer orientated, but it really is just a wonderful, wonderful event. And I have to say, I don't think Christmas is Christmas without the Nutcracker, and where better to see it than the Royal Albert Hall. They always put on the most spectacular show. Maybe not this year, I think, sadly, but it'll be back in full swing in the following years, I'm sure. But there's also lovely opportunity to do private tours of the Albert Hall, even have a singing lesson if you're that way inclined. But it really is one of the festive treats to go and see a performance of the Nutcracker. And you have the opportunity to have a wonderful day at Ascot. And Ascot really do make it a wonderful family day. There is something for all ages. In addition to the racing, we can't guarantee any winners, I'm afraid, because we're certainly not qualified to make any recommendations on that front. But you know, it's all part of the fun. But a delicious lunch, the very best seats in the house, obviously, and a wonderful opportunity just to wander around the race course. They usually have live music most years for the Christmas racing. So it's just a glorious, glorious day. Normally happens about the second week of December, and Ascot is just about an hour or so from London, very close to Cliveden and to Heckfield. So you've got lots of lovely opportunities to stay close by if you choose. Now, Bath and Winchester are the two best Christmas markets, in my humble opinion, in the country. We went down last year, and it's absolutely magical with all of the little almost sort of tiny shepherd's huts, with all of the produce to sell. So lots of food and drink, lots of fabulous Christmas presents. You can wander around the Abbey, and the Abbey put on these lovely, just really short carol concerts during the day, about half an hour or so. So if you fancy a bit of a sing-along with some Christmas carols in between your Christmas shopping, then we'd certainly recommend it. It's just beautiful. And they were even putting in underfloor heating when we were there last year. So that's lovely. And obviously with the Royal Crescent and the other beautiful hotels in Bath, you've got a wealth of choice, along with some really stunning restaurants. So all sorts to see and do, but definitely recommend a trip to Bath at Christmas. And as you can see here, these are the little huts with all of the produce, and there's the Christmas tree in front of the Abbey, which is just fabulous. And another stately home, because our stately homes really do Christmas rather well. And Waddesdon, again, is a bit of a winter wonderland. They have a fabulous Christmas market on site. And because of the French style, the sort of almost chateau style of the house, it really does lend itself beautifully to all of the decorations and the light. We can arrange some rather lovely wine tasting for you, in addition to a private tour. Obviously, the Waddesdon is owned by the Rothschild family, so if anyone has access to good wine, it's them, and it really is just wonderful. I mean, the lights. Whoever creates these incredible light displays really deserves a medal. They're just utterly magical, quite mesmerizing actually. You stand there and just watch them for hours. And these huge sort of Christmas baubles that they've created that are well, bigger than me, that's for sure. And there's the Christmas market. So that's our 12 days of Christmas. If you can do all of them, you will be as festive as you can get. But we will happily create a wonderful festive itinerary for you. It's only 4 months away, so a great opportunity to start planning and deciding what it is you'd like to do. Just give us a call and we will make it all happen for you. So that's it for this Humphreys highlight. We will be back with another one next week, but I hope we've got you a little bit into the festive season.